Well, hello there. It's Beards and Bangers, and today you join me in a valedictory mood because I listed the Rover 216 SLI, which is just behind me, as you can see, a few weeks ago. Golly, it's windy, and it's a week ago, and it's already generating quite a lot of interest. So I thought we'd better do a little bit of a walk round to recap what I've done to it before it disappears.
Welcome to Beards and Bangers.
So you may remember I bought this car from a subscriber a few weeks ago. It had a bit of a misfire, but that was just down to the HT leads, which you saw me replacing. So we'll pop the bonnet and have a look under there in a second. What else have I done to it? You may remember there was a gorge of a crack on this windscreen up here. So we managed to source a new windscreen for it. There's a couple of bits I haven't done, but we'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a moment. Yeah, so the Rover 200 R8 is basically a Honda Concerto. It's very closely related to the Honda Civic. It's obviously been roverized. You've got nice bits of wood like we've got in here, and it actually is wood. So that does differentiate it somewhat. I'm going to jump in to get out of the wind because it is absolutely blowing a gale down this street. It always does. So yeah, so what have I done to it? So yeah, got the new leads on it just to make sure that that misfire doesn't reoccur. Here's what I found. Siri is interrupting me as usual. I've also changed the rocker cover gasket and the oil seals because that was probably the reason the HT lead was popping off, because it was lubricated and, you know, had no vacuum. So the oil was basically destroying the vacuum that those leads should have. So that's been done. That's all good. You may also remember that the car was absolutely full of dog hair, which has now been sorted out. It's been thoroughly cleansed. All the rubbers, I don't know how well you can see the rubbers, but floor mats have all been treated, cleaned, and they're looking lovely. The radio still isn't fitted. I'm going to give a potential buyer a couple of options. They can either have a modern, or they can have one of the correct radios, but they'll have to get an audio person to splice in some wiring to get it connected properly. So yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, radio. I know that the TF I've just bought, that's got I'll spin you around so you can see my lovely little face. Yeah, the TF I've just bought, that has got a Pioneer DAB Bluetooth affair in it, which actually is quite nice because you can connect the iPhone up. You've got hands-free talking. I guess it's another debate we need to have, and I'm not gonna debate it in song like I did about windscreen wipers. But yeah, period radios. Do you go period, or do you go modern, or do you go for these faux period radios that look like, especially in the sort of 60s, 70s classics, do you go for the ones that look like an AM long wave radio, or do you? I'm just gonna fiddle with my camera. That's it. What am I doing? Oh goodness me. Yeah, so I'm absolutely having fun with this. Come back. Where have I gone? Oh, there I am. Gimbals. Yeah, so do you go for the modern radio so you can have your iPhone? Do you go for, you know, the period and, you know, try and source stuff and try and wire it in, try and find a code? I don't know. It's an interesting question. Certainly in the 260's got a double DIN Alpine unit already. I'm going to do the same in the 190 when that's fixed, just because I think, especially the ZTs, they do lend themselves to having the double DIN. They did have a double DIN radio, you know, and some of them with the Highline radio, so it's not out of place. But should we have period radios? Anyway, I digress because I'm saying goodbye to the 216. I'm now going off on a radio tangent, but we'll have a little look at what else we've done to this car. Yes, I've come inside to do a bit of the video because it's really just really windy. So this is the period correct stereo that's going to go with the car. Or I do have a modern that can go with it. The issue is getting this connection. I know one of my kind subscribers has had a look, or he's trying to find out for me, but I think it needs to go to an audio specialist if someone does want this radio. But this is the correct radio. It's one of the options. Philips R570 was one of the options that buyers would have had in the 90s on a Rover car. Yeah, I'll leave it up to the buyer what he wants. So I've got 2 of these now, so if anyone wants one, then do get in touch, because I don't really need one. So I've got 3. One came with the BRM, but I have put a modern radio in the BRM for now. The other nice thing with the 216 is this history book. So it's the original leather, I don't know how well you can see that, history folder. Move the logbook, you don't want to see that. So I think the second owner of this car bought it from, I think the dealer actually had it as like a fleet car. But the second owner, I know he's the second owner, or certainly not the first, is because he starts this log in 97 when the car's at 15,000 miles. And he's basically logged everything he's ever done to the car, or every time he's filled it up. But he also makes comments. So he's filled it up on the 6th of November 97 at 16,196 miles, dust in rear. And I don't know what that comment means, but he's put in 44.8 litres and he's covered 328 miles since the previous fill up. So I suspect one of the owners of this car was an accountant. But yeah, we've got this lovely logbook which I'm going to supply with the car, with literally everything logged in it. It is absolutely fantastic, and it's a good thing, because along with the MOT history, it sort of kind of backs up the mileage. But I just don't think, because the engine is so tight, it's 140. Well, it's coming on for 146,000 miles, the engine, and it's as fresh as a daisy. It really is, and I think this is why, because it's been looked after so well. We've got our original Rover radio manual. We've got owner information and service record. I'm not doing this video to sell the car. It's just really interesting. Yeah, everything's in there, and then there's some bits of paperwork. So it's really quite nice. And I'll show you one more thing before we wrap up the video. So I'm pretty certain the number plate, the front number plate, will fail the MOT. So I've had some new plates made up. The rear one's got its protective film on, which those of you who watched my live stream a couple of weeks ago will have seen me having fun. But there's a chap called Matt up north who makes these basically original plates. So we've got Caffins in Tunbridge, Kent. So Caffins are still going, actually. I think they're a multi-car, multi-brand dealership now, but they're a very well-established company, called Kent and Sussex, I think, maybe South East London too. So I've had number plates made up. These can go on the car. I'm not going to have a chance to fit them if it sells this weekend, so I'm going to put these in the boot, and these go with the car. But yeah, I'm going to be actually getting some more made up by Matt for the TF. I'm going to put my private number plate, or one of my private number plates, on the TF. There was I saying that I hated private number plates, but I've got one that I can't sell. It ends VVC, so it's ideal to go on the 160 TF, because it'll maybe make it look nice. But I'm going to get it done with the dealer plates. Right, so yeah, that's a bit of the sort of history of the car as well. Yeah, so this seatbelt lower end here doesn't actually work. Christ, wind just blown that door into my backside. Luckily my backside's quite well padded, so I've got the part in the boot. I've said to the prospective buyer who's coming today, I haven't done this yet, I've not had time, and he's no, don't worry, I can do that. So he's not worried about the MOT, so we'll see if he buys it first off. But yeah, it's a pretty solid car. Let's have a little look under the bonnet. So yes, I've not had a pressure washer anywhere near this engine. I'm debating whether that is a sensible thing to do to these older motors, particularly we've got so much exposed kind of wiring and gubbins. It's just maybe not a good idea. So we probably need to a more labour intensive route of detailing these engine bays. But yeah, so yeah, new HT leads went on, rocket cover gasket, the oil seals are kind of down here, so they've been changed. It seems to have stopped the oil leak because we were getting a bit of smoke from the exhaust manifold, and that has stopped, so that's good news. But yes, I've really not actually had to do too much to this car. Yes, the other thing I've done is polished it, paint corrected, so clay bar polish, ceramic coat, even though there's a nice big bird's poo on the car now. Yeah, and that is really all I've had to do to it. So I would have done the MOT in the next couple of weeks, so that's fresh. Of course, I've added a Beards and Banger sticker because that's obligatory. Yeah, I've got new number plates for it, which I'm going to supply with the car. I haven't fitted them, but they are the correct number plates with the dealer logo on. You may remember it's got this genuine Rover tow bar, which is going to go with the car. I've not really had a chance to drive this too much, but I need to reduce the fleet a bit. We've got too many in the fleet, and hopefully someone's going to come along and love this car as much as I have had it, as much as I have in the short time that I've had it. So there we are. Hopefully another member of the Beards and Bangers fleet is going to a good home. You never know. I've got another inquiry which I'll follow up on if this chap who's coming doesn't take it. But yeah, good cars. Not had a chance to review on it. Never mind, these things happen. But I'm sure there's plenty of Rover 200s in our car community on YouTube and on Facebook. So thank you for watching. I will see you again on the next instalment of Beards and Bangers very soon. Goodbye.